What's going on, guys? Listen, I woke up today and I don't know, I started reading the widow's olive oil, and like I just felt like something burning in me, like a word burning in me to get this out. So I haven't even like broken it down yet, right? I just kind of heard a voice, okay, you need to make a video about this, right? This is gonna help a lot of people. So we're gonna see what the Lord does. I'm just being obedient. I'm gonna read 2 Kings 4 verses 1 through 7. It's gonna be a longer form video, and so if the shoe fits, hopefully you find encouragement by this. But understand, not understand, but we're going through a global crisis right now, right? Where people all over the globe are having a hard time maintaining their standard of living, right? And the 9 to 5 ain't doing it, right? But at the same time, though, based on this system that says, you need to go to school, get a good degree, and get a job that we bought into, we live in a virtual world. It's 2023, and it's like, that old system's not working no more. After COVID happened, like you really can't like do life the way you used to do life, right? Which means if you don't like change the way you make money, right, to where it's more so using your creativity, right, using your mindset, even creating a new form of new streams of income, honestly, online, right? Because one of the beauties of what COVID happened is it broke a lot of barriers, right? Like now you can literally do business with people internationally because of platforms like TikTok, because of platforms like YouTube, because of social media. It's like the borders have opened, but like if we're still having the same mindset of like go to school, get a good job, do the 9 to 5, and that system is washing away, and then due to the pandemic closing down so many businesses, the reality is the economy took a hit, and that's why almost every single person that I know, they're struggling financially. Right? It may not look like it, but they are. The dollar bill, I mean, like the dollar bill, it's probably worth 60 cents at this point. Don't quote me on that. I am not an economist. And so I'm asking the Lord, right? After I made a promise to God, I told God I'm not doing a 9 to 5, period, ever again. Right? I'm never doing 9 to 5 again. I was like, God, you gave me creativity. Right? I was like, God, you told me that I was made in your image. You created something out of nothing. You used your words to make something shake. Right? And now all of this came to be. You said, let there be light, and it was. Right? And then you said, and then, you're the King of Kings, Jesus, and you call me a king. Right? And so I'm at a point in my life where I'm not doing a 9 to 5. Right? But most importantly, I have to make sure that I'm disciplined every single day to make sure I'm becoming the man I'm supposed to become. And then on top of that, right, the gift he put in me, I'm refining it every single day while creating opportunities through my gift, because I know if I'm operating in my realm of responsibility, I don't have to worry about the dollar bill. Work isn't going to feel like a job, right? Man gives you a job. God gives you a work. And when God gives you a work, you don't have to worry about the dollar bill. It doesn't feel like a burden, right? You can still operate in your integrity, right? And so when I read this, I was like, man, this could help a lot of people. So let's get into it, okay? That's just context. Let's get into it. 2 Kings 4 verses 1 through 7. It says, the wife of a man from the company of the prophets cried out to Elisha, your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditor is coming to take my two boys as slaves. A lot of you guys, right? The creditor man, he coming to take your stuff. Your car probably got repossessed, right? You probably losing some furniture. You probably got moved back to a relative's house, right? That ain't no different than, her boys getting about to be taken up as slaves. Elisha replied to her, right? The prophet, right? The man of God said to her, how can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house? That word is still current today. Okay? Your servant has nothing. Your servant has nothing at all. Why? She has that 9 to 5 mentality. She's still thinking about making money the way her parents taught her to make money, right? She has to learn how to think differently, right? So she says, your servant has nothing at all. She said, except a small jar of olive oil. It's crazy. In the Bible, the way I read the Bible is there's patterns, right? And if you can find a pattern, it will lead you to a prediction, right? So if you find these patterns and you start operating based on a lot of these patterns in the Bible, right? A small jar of olive oil, the boy with the two small fish and 5 loaves of bread. God always does major things with a little bit. So you don't need much, right? So she said, a small jar of olive oil. Elisha said, go around and ask your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few. Then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars, and as each is filled, put it to one side. She left him and shut the door behind her and her sons. She went to work. She was able to get as much resources as possible, and then she shut the door. She went to work. Listen, they teach you, right? I won't say they teach you, right? But if you ever look at like how anybody becomes majorly successful, right? The caterpillar, right? I like to think of the caterpillar as that old way of thinking, that old man, right? It was a version of me that used to smoke 6-7 blunts a day. It was a version of me that I had to go clubbing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was a version of me that didn't know how to treat women. It was the version of me, right, that was filled with pride and ego. That was the caterpillar version of me, the version of me society told me, right? The version of me that was a victim, right? I had to die to that version of me. I had to die to thinking like the caterpillar, right? And you got to go inside of a cocoon, and it's dark and it's lonely. The same way like a plant, right? You want to produce all this fruit. Well, guess what? Like you got to go into the ground and you got to die to the seed, right? And then you got to grow these thick roots in secret. Nobody's looking. Nobody can see you. But after that process is over, you sprout up and you can bear fruit, right? And then you can provide for society, your family, right? The next 4 generations to come. Right? So it says right here, she left him and shut the door behind her and her sons. I love that. She went to work. Baby girl went to work. All right. They brought the jars to her and she kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she said to her son, bring me another one. But he replied, there is not a jar left. Then the oil stopped working. Right? She should have gotten more jars. That's a word for somebody. Right? Big faith. Big faith tells you God's going to do it. Why? Because he always does it. So you better get more jars than you think you need, okay? All right, last verse 7. Okay, she went and told the man of God, and he said, go sell the oil and pay your debts. You and your sons can live off what is left. All right, how much money was there that she sold what she had to sell, right? And then she was able to live off what's left and her sons. So that's her whole lifetime, and then the lifetime of all her sons as well. You're talking about like what was left was able to provide for like the entire like generation and probably the kids of her sons too, right? The 9-to-5 guys, or that old way of making money, it's just not gonna do it. Not in the situation that we're in. So like I'm challenging you guys, right? If you're in a situation where financially it's tough, right? Listen, don't look at that as an obstacle, right? Look at it as, okay, this is God calling me to change how I make money. This is God calling me to go higher, to use my creativity. This is God calling me to use whatever is in my hand because he wants to bless it, right? You don't think God could give you a great job making $200K? Yes, he can. But instead, God's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I want you to own your own thing. I want you to have your own kingdom. Right? I want you to produce money where like you build something from the bottom to a high level. You understand how it works, right? It gives you character, right? Because a lot of times when you're building something, right, it requires a lot of character and integrity. And then not only will you leave something behind for your children, but you can put that character inside of them too, so that your kids grow up with virtue, and then they can continue the work that you left as a man of character that's virtuous, but also with somebody with ample resources. And so, go read the Bible. It's great. And hopefully this word helps you. It blessed me. Johnny out, okay?